With over 2 billion acres of public lands in the U.S. that belong to us, we are spread thinly over vast areas to attempt care for these lands that are in our custody. Grandly, all of our BCHW members contribute in some way, aiding the federal, state, and county agencies that are charged with land management. In 2017, our Washington chapters volunteered a total of 66,654 hours, all for the betterment of public lands and their access. 13,000 plus hours were performed on U.S. Forest Service lands, with 4,000 plus of those being skilled work, including certified sawyer work, packing, and delicate rigging work. Our Sawyer certification program now includes graduates from 21 chapters. Our packing crews pack tons of supplies and tools throughout public lands, and skillfully transported dynamite for the Forest Service to displace some pesky rock impediments in the Gifford-Pinchot and Olympic National Forests.
Almost through.
I think it is. Whoa!
Beautiful.
Nice.
That's all right.
Good job, Louise.
A day pounding the pavement at the state capitol, encouraging legislators to foster our outdoor assets, was well attended by Grays Harbor chapter members. National Trails Day, Grays Harbor chapter combined a weekend campout and work party, where they improved trailhead parking and camping areas and completed a 2-mile section of access road in the Olympic National Forest. Their chapter again partnered with a private timberland holder by volunteering custodial work with personal machinery and litter and trash pickup. They were permitted to hold their fundraiser on trails the chapter has developed here throughout the years. Continued work through an RTP grant on the West Fork Hump Tulips River Trail included machinery rental with operators from Lewis County and Mount Olympus chapters, completing construction of 3 miles of trail with switchback barriers and installation of water bars. To provide safe stock travel, one segment of this trail required packing of explosives, rock drills, and a certified blaster. Grays Harbor chapter racked up 2,960 volunteer hours, maintaining and improving 14 miles of trail, reconstructing 3 miles of trail, performing maintenance on 6 bridges, constructing 24 feet of puncheon, and all while enjoying the outdoors. On the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, Lewis County chapter members skipped all over the Cowlitz Valley Ranger District, working on backcountry and wilderness trails. On the Cowlitz Trail in the Soda Springs Trailhead area, they logged out 150 trees in under 200 yards. Bucking windfall and some tread repair were done on the Klickitat 7 trail. After parking and traversing cross-country on foot, log clearing occurred for roughly 1.5 miles up and down the trail. In the heat of August, Lewis County members removed 104 logs from the Wilderness Jordan Creek Trail. This trail had not been bucked out for over 8 years. The Sawyers camped overnight to complete the logging and tread work project. Supporting Washington Trails Association, Lewis County packers loaded up tools, camping gear, and provisions for a drop camp. Here, WTA worked for 7 days on the Upper Lake Creek Trail repairing drainages. Also, replacement of 2 puncheons on the Lost Lake Trail, bucking out Packwood Lake Trail, and the pipeline road to Packwood Lake. In order to blast a big rock that has been impeding the safety of travelers for a long time, overnight camp tools and blasting supplies were packed in on the old Snowy Trail to reach the Pacific Crest Trail below Packwood Glacier. In the Goat Rocks Wilderness, Lewis County members packed in provisions, tools, a 75-pound rock drill, and blasting equipment for the U.S. Forest Service. This excursion was to remove a massive rock slide that had blocked trail access for several years. Blasting and repair completed, BCHW packers made a return trip to extricate the Forest Service workers. Methil Valley chapter members contributed 700 plus volunteer hours in 2017 by logging out, brushing, removing rocks, repairing tread, and constructing turnpikes on 16 different trails in their drainages. They also performed horse camp maintenances, improvements, and constructions. Ahead of BCHW and WTA work parties, Methil Valley chapter chainsawed to wilderness boundaries. This expedited concentration of the work parties on the more pressing trail matters. Fall of 2017 brought shouts of glee from Methil Valley chapter members. Over 5 years ago, the chapter envisioned a new horse camp in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. Due to permits, surveys, paperwork, planning, sequestration of grant funds, and 2 years of forest fires, groundbreaking didn't begin until the fall of 2017. With only a month before snow set in, crews were able to log out the 76 trees in the work site and lay out the camp road system on the new North Summit Horse Camp. At this point, this chapter's members not only have volunteered 500 hours of time, but have contributed over $19,000 of chapter money. A RAC grant and 2 Title II grants were also secured for this project. Pierce County chapter had 7 scheduled work parties on the Nicholson Trail System in Elbe State Forest in 2017. Many individual chapter members ventured out far more often, performing drainage fixes and log removal on the near 80-mile non-motorized trail system. They also maintained the camp's 24 stock sites, commons, and pavilion. They offered packing instruction, a practice gravel haul, and assisted in the Great Gravel Haul in Capitol State Forest. Led by member Tom Fabian with assistance of other Pierce County members, another Eagle Scout earned a necessary badge while constructing usable trails on public lands. Trail maintenance coffers were subsidized by their annual prize ride from Sahara Creek Campground in Elbe State Forest and being the parking attendants for the Pierce County Fair. Pierce County chapter spearheaded BCHW's participation in the Washington State Fair Parade. Members from about a half-dozen chapters showed BCHW colors in the parade through Puyallup, Washington. Chapter packers hauled tools and provisions in Mount Rainier National Park, enabling trail crews to camp and make the most of their work hours to clear the Laughing Water Trail up to the Pacific Crest Trail. Ponderosa chapter continues to encourage all members to participate in the chapter by working with education, advocacy, trail work, and other supporting functions. Their goal is for all members to benefit from their membership by having skin in the game. Their chapter held a trailhead camping seminar to help participants become comfortable while camping with their stock. It included written material, classroom discussion, and hands-on experience. Some topics were leave no trace, highlining, knots, safety, locations, and how to plan ahead. The evening festivities were enjoyed at an LNT fire with s'mores, music, and stories of the trails. Ponderosa chapter members continued working with the BLM throughout the year, performing maintenance, improvements, and installation of a new kiosk on the Eskew Ranch. Fundraising for this chapter included their annual fall fun ride and scavenger hunt. Rig parking, registration, outriders, chili feed, raffles, and prize awards were all executed by chapter volunteers. Their monthly membership meetings provided opportunities for fellowship, business, and education programs. Scatter Creek chapter, alongside Friends of Capitol Forest and DNR crews, installed new bridges in Capitol State Forest south of Olympia, one each on the Wedekind and Mima Falls East trails. These bridges were funded through NOVA grants. On the campground trail in Capitol Forest, members worked to facilitate drainage on non-motorized trails by providing runoff and hardening trail surfaces. And out of Falls Creek Campground, they are working on a new non-motorized trail to ease conflicts of user groups. In the Margaret McKinney and Mima campgrounds, volunteers built and installed new mounting blocks to make us all look more agile when we mount and dismount. These projects allowed members to mentor youths. From U.S. Fish and Wildlife property, Scatter Creek members worked to open some trails that were blocked a few years ago by the winter of the ice storm. Cascade Horse Club and Trail Dusters chapters contributed to a speedy process from implication to a usable parking facility at the Pilchuck Tree Farm, northeast of Arlington, Washington. Starting in 2016, these chapters collaborated with the Pilchuck Mountain Bike Club, neighbors of Pilchuck Tree Farm, and owners of the tree farm, Pacific Denkman Forestry. Chapters, neighbors, and bicyclists contributed funds and labor to the project. The tree farm donated 1.5 acres for the site. Other Northwest Region BCHW chapters, Cherry Valley Riders, and Fish Creek Endurance Riders also donated hard cash. With donated heavy equipment, brushing, clearing, and leveling occurred, followed by base rock for the road and parking areas. The 36 truckloads of rock were donated by Pilchuck Tree Farm. The total cost in donated labor, equipment, and cash is $35,650. When we talk about independence, we are talking about BCHW members at large and members from various chapters who work with commitment on non-chapter organized work parties. 2017 had these members working towards finishing trail maintenances from the year before and venturing into untouched projects that haven't seen TLC in decades. Our independent hotshot crew leader put together some dandy projects. A Pasayten Wilderness hotshot crew took on a week-long project hoping to clear the Crystal Lake, Peep Site, Coleman Ridge, and Andrews Creek trails by the end. Considering the distance of these trails from the trailhead, overnight spike camps were improvised. Some supplies and building materials for puncheons were packed in 14 miles. This project had noticeable aid from the Ranger District and financial aid through a National Wilderness Stewardship Grant. Another involved an RTP grant, Friends from Three Peaks Outfitters, Cle Elum Forest Service, and a nighttime pack trip to the Spinola Creek Bridge to remove a stubborn tree. A 15-mile ride into the wilderness had members recovering a large cache of tools near Waptus Lake, only to ride out in smoke as thick as fog. A BCHW hotshot crew supported Methow Valley chapter, logging out War Creek in the Twisp River drainage on National Trails Day. Approved by Region 6 of the U.S. Forest Service, our BCHW Sawyer certification program has to date 185 certified sawyers and 10 certified fellers. Of these sawyers, 29 are ladies. They are a great asset to trail maintenance since the ladies may be horse or muleback more often and will be able to continue down the trail when they run into trail blocks while climbing mountainsides. Our certifications are held across the state by evaluators, and a ladies' Sawyer class is offered at our annual rendezvous in conjunction with our annual business meeting in March.
Top's not coming hardly down at all. But